Who owns your thoughts? Weird question, but who does? You don't. I know you don't. You get so much information, and so much information so quickly, especially if you're watching these instant gratification, dopamine stimuli, these short form content. Short form content could be like 90% of why you're not succeeding, maybe 80% of why you're not succeeding in life. You get so much information so quickly, and it clogs up your short term storage. Your brain could have as much long term storage. You could learn many, many things and so many things for years before it even comes to a point where you start losing. You can't learn as quickly with the long term storage. It's a short term storage that means you can't learn enough right now. It's because you get so much information from all these YouTube shows, and not good information. I'm not saying that you know the statistics of sleep and all this. I'm not saying that when you read the 4 Hour Work Week, you go, my brain's too clogged up, I can't think of business ideas. No, the reason your brain's clogged up and you can't think of business ideas is because two things. The first one is because of the dopamine you get and you don't sit down and think because you're too busy always distracting yourself. And the second reason is because there's always something to think about that isn't coming up with ideas. When your brain has nowhere to move, nowhere. Because you watch 100 of these short videos, and 100 videos might take 10 minutes. And you spend 3 hours on your phone a day, you're getting 1,800 videos. Your brain's thinking about all of them. It processes through all of those videos. And then you go, why can't I sit down and think of a business? Why can't I think properly? There's a good reason you can't think properly, because how could you? There's no space for your brain. No space for your brain to think. I made a video on my 2 weeks without the internet. 2 weeks before that, I was making this channel, and every Sunday I'd sit down and think about a video to upload, and I'd sit there and I'd have no clue. I'd have things on my whiteboard that would be like coal exposure, but that's just pop culture self-improvement. Like I'm not even doing coal exposure. Like what? Like this ain't gonna be a good video. It wouldn't be, and they weren't, because I wasn't doing it either, and that was because of the too much dopamine. But I couldn't come up with anything, and that was because too much information. You see how it's two-pronged? They fuck you from both ends. Burn the candle at both ends. Put 2 weeks off. Now, it took me 1 week before I got my ideas back. And that was a week without any influences, without any of this short-form information, with this excessive information that paid no benefit to me. 1 week, and my thoughts came back to me. Now, that's very good. 1 week, you take 2 weeks off, you'll be ahead of most people, and you can continue to be ahead of most people. But does not get you a little bit angry that it only took 1 week, and yet it's been years since you've had your own ideas? When I was younger, I had business ideas on business ideas. Every day, I could come back with 10 ideas, write them down in a book. I could fill up books. I could just publish a book when I was younger. Now, if any of these ideas were good, doesn't matter, but I had lots of them when I was younger. Now, as I get older, they got better. Except until I stopped having them. I stopped having these ideas. For years, I didn't have them. This wasn't to say I never came up with a business idea. Occasionally, I came up with a great one. And these ideas came at times when I wasn't using too much social media. But I didn't have them as often as I used to. So it took years of me not having these ideas until I get them back. So years I've gone without them. And right now I'm never going to go back to not having them. But that gets you a little bit angry. Years I didn't have them because of this information, because of these short form videos, because I can watch 1,800 videos in a day and I can't process all of them, so I can't think of anything. You can't be successful. Like, I'd work hard to make these videos, but it's much easier to make them now. I can record 3 times. I can record every day of the week. I've got an idea. I've like 9 ideas. One day I came down, I was just sitting there, 9 ideas. Watched one video, I found 2 ideas from it. And this was a long form video. I wasn't watching a short now. I wasn't like, oh look, I'm gonna make a video on TikTok dancing moves. No. I got more ideas in a day than I did in 2 months because I hadn't got any influences. How would that compound? Maybe today won't matter. I've only uploaded 2 videos this week. Well, I'll upload 3 by the end of the week. It's 3 times more, but really sees how it matters. It's like 3 times versus 1 time. Yeah, well, it's better. But what if I do 3 times next year? Oh, I'll have a lot more growth than 1 time. What if the 3 times means I get to a point where I can self-sustain off YouTube quicker? So then I can upload every day. Well, it would take me years to get that in 1 video a week, except I have it next year. And then the growth's exponential. And all you have to do is get off this information. Get away from these instant 1800 videos a day. Get away from them, and you can have these video ideas. Now, maybe you don't want a YouTube channel. Maybe you run an online business, an online businessman, some drop shipping, or whatever you want to run. You can have more ideas for these. You can think about them more. You'll think better when you have less stuff occupying your mind. Certain CEOs or entrepreneurs, like Alex Hormozi, talks about not having tasks that take up your brain power. It's like you have a certain amount of brain points in a day, and you don't want to take them up. And he talks about getting a chef. Hamza talks about this. Tim Ferriss talks about this with virtual assistants and all that. And I think that's a tremendous idea. You should do that because it would benefit you. But this is what you're doing. You focus on the 10%. I can't afford a VA, a virtual assistant. I can't get a chef. Maybe not right now. And do you know why you can't get that last 10%? Because there's the 90% of the beforehand that you're unwilling to give up. You're not willing to give up your YouTube shorts, your Instagram reels, your TikTok. I wasn't for a while. I didn't do it for a while. I took 2 weeks off and my life was 10 times better. 2 weeks it took me. Just 2. That's all. And my life got better. Now you do that. You're going to make decisions better. You're going to have more drive, more willpower. And with a combination of less information, time's going to go by slower. And then also because your attention span's going to be longer. You're going to get more done in a day. I have half an hour time book. It gives me half an hour slots to do stuff. I put in record video. I can have most of my stuff done before 2. And this is me recovering from like a late sleep schedule that I had while I was away. So I can get stuff done before 2. I start at 9, I finish at 2. 5 hours takes me to get a video done, workout in, food eaten, takes all this. You can do that. It just takes getting rid of this information. And it's not, well, actually, if you can do it in 5 hours, that means you're still awake for the next 9 hours. You can get more done. No, because if I had that information, I wouldn't work for these 5 hours. I wouldn't get half the work I get done in these 5 hours. These 5 hours would be wasted. I'd be thinking about, I watched this YouTube short yesterday and spinning around in my chair, not thinking about this video, paying full attention to this, thinking about how Alex Hormozi says things and how Tim Ferriss says things and how different people say things. That's in my head now because I'm focused on this. But it's not what YouTube short I watched earlier. It's not what TikTok I watched earlier. It's not Instagram Reel I watched earlier. It's my purpose, what my goals are, what I want to achieve, who I want to become, what life I want to lead. Do you want to be successful? Well, that has to occupy your mind all the time, not a fucking TikTok dance. Do you want to have a good life? Do you want to have good friends? Do you want to have a good family? Well, you need to pay attention to them and not have some video rattling around in the back of your head. You should be focused solely on them. listening to what they say, thinking about them, not distracted. You want to become successful. You want to achieve these things. You have great aspirations, yeah? Well, to achieve them, you're going to have to work hard. And you're going to have to not have this information. So this information, over dopamine, or too much dopamine, or too much instant gratification, too much of this bullshit information holds you back from your success. Imagine yourself now with absolutely everything you want, absolutely everything you could ever dream of, down to the socks you want to have, to the bed you want to have, to the car, to the watch, to the house, to the home, to the family you will have, to the clothes you will wear. Imagine that now. Now imagine someone takes that away from you. Someone comes in and strips you of everything, takes away absolutely everything you've dreamed of, absolutely everything you want, taken away from you. How does that make you feel? Angry. Maybe upset. Probably sad. Angry at it. Of course. Why aren't you angry at social media? Because that's taken away from you now. That's not robbing you in 5 years' time, that's robbing you of it now. And it compounds every day. Every day you don't do this. Say I didn't do it last week and I did it next week. Well, that's 3 videos. Maybe 1 week won't matter. But what if it was I never did it for 6 months down the line? Well, 6 months I might even upload 1 video a week. But now I'd upload 3 videos a week. And in 6 months' time I'll have more subscribers than I do now. And in a year's time I'm going to have enough videos where that I can actually make a living off of it. So for me, quitting it now means in a year's time I'll be able to upload daily. Or maybe I'll upload 3 times a week, but they'll be better and I'll be able to make a living off it and I'll be able to have it as my sole dedication. And I'll be able to do this because I've given it up now. But if you waited in a year's time, you'll be giving up on a year's worth of potential. And it's not a year of what you've already achieved, it's a year of 10 times what you've achieved in the past year. What I will achieve this year will be more than what I've achieved in any year prior. What I achieve in the next 2 months will be more than I have in the last 2 months of my channel. What I achieve by this time next year will be more than most people will achieve in a year. And that's because I've given up the things that most people cannot. I'm unlocking the potential that remains dormant in most. My life in a year will be nothing like my life this year. My life last year is going to be nothing like my life in 2 years. Because I've given this up and I'm working harder. And because giving it up, I've achieved and I will achieve a potential that will remain dormant in most people. And you can achieve this if you do what I've done. Get rid of the social medias. Get rid of your bullshit information and get rid of the dopamine. Because if you want that success, if you don't want it stripped away from you, this is what you have to do. And that's a lot of sacrifice, yeah. And it's hard to be super successful, yes. But it's hard to be broke. So choose which one you want. And get that potential.